Yo, what up guys? How y'all doing? If you're new around here, my name is Sean, aka Juicy Lemons, because, well, you know why. We cover single player gaming news on the channel, and so if you're interested in that kind of topic, consider subscribing. Today's topic is a game you've probably heard of here and there for the past 8 years, and that's Ubisoft Skull and Bones. We are going to be discussing the inspiration behind the game. We're also going to be talking about the origins of the game and the recent information we have. So yeah, let's get right into it. Before we set sail through the journey of Skull and Bones, from its origins into its most recent coordinates, let's first discuss what inspired the idea of this game. October 29th, 2013. What does that date mean to you? Can't remember that far back? Well, I can, through the help of Google, that is. October 29th, 2013 was in fact the day Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag was released. Here's a short summary of Black Flag. No spoilers, because if you haven't played it, I really encourage you to do so. Great game. Black Flag followed the story of Captain Edward Kenway. He was a pirate who, through his lust for gold and thievery, I think that's a word, would become enemies with the Templars. Templars. This new powerful enemy would then lead him to the Assassins to form an alliance and later join their creed. Captain Edward Kenway was now not only a pirate captain of his own ship and crew, but also a new member of the Assassin's Creed. This innovative concept was the first in the Assassin's Creed series, and at least for me, it was my most enjoyable of the entire series. Although Assassin's Creed 3 was the first of the series to introduce naval combat, Black Flag took that feature to a whole new level, and it was amazing. In Assassin's Creed 3, the naval combat was missions that you would load into, but when the mission was over, you simply returned back to land to free roam, and that was it. Couldn't free roam on the seas. However, in Black Flag, the free roam was a seamless experience on land and sea. So you could walk around the island of Nassau and then head to the docks, board your ship, and set sail for the East Indies. Black Flag became the greatest pirate video game ever made. However, a question stuck in my mind throughout the game. What if Ubisoft just made a standalone open world single player pirate experience, but without the Assassin's Creed? Well, lads, insert Skull and Bones. That was terrible. It sounded better in my head. Okay, so how far back does the timeline of Skull and Bones begin? Well, try 8 years ago, in 2013. That's right. According to a Kotaku article by Ethan Gatch, Skull and Bones development began back in 2013 as a multiplayer expansion to Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag that would release as a post-launch update. 3 sources with knowledge of the project's origins said the expansion soon took on a life of its own, however morphing into a full-blown MMO-like spin-off with the working title Black Flag Infinite, and later a brand new pirate game called Skull and Bones. So 4 years later, Ubisoft announced the game at E3 2017. This announcement included an on-stage reveal and even a hands-on demo. In fact, a year later, they updated their demo for fans to try out. At this point, everyone that was looking forward to this game had little to no doubt the game would be released in 2018 as planned. Many times we've seen games have only a reveal trailer at an event like E3, but came up short and never released. However, Skull and Bones already had 2 demos, if you include the updated demo. So it really looked like a release in 2018 was very likely. Unfortunately, our outside perspective was far different than the reality of the game's development. In reality, the development of the game was getting nowhere. Kotaku stated from an anonymous developer of Skull and Bones that nobody knew what they were doing. This became clearer when the 2018 release was delayed to 2019, then to 2020, then 2022, and now possibly 2023. So that leads us into the final chapter. What is the latest news for Skull and Bones? As far as the release date, despite many delays, Ubisoft has informed investors Skull and Bones will release in 2022. However, according to Digital Trends, it is more likely that it won't be until 2023. Hopefully for Ubisoft, they can have a successful release of Skull and Bones soon, because we also know that the development thus far has cost Ubisoft over $120 million. Not nearly as expensive as games like Grand Theft Auto 5 or a Call of Duty game, but it could get worse if the game keeps getting delayed or redeveloped. Knowing this, we can expect Ubisoft to try and milk as much money as they can from this game. From a business perspective, I would completely understand. However, from a consumer perspective, if we want to get the full experience from this game, we might be spending more than just the cost of the base game. Nowadays, that is a pretty typical expectation though. The point I'm trying to make is, let's say given Ubisoft's track record, it is not a free-to-play MMO like Star Wars The Old Republic or World of Warcraft. Instead, you have to pay for the base game, which will be probably $60-$70, a subscription for added benefits / easier progression in the game that could be as low as $10 a month, DLC content, and of course the PlayStation Plus membership, because we will likely be required to always be online just to play the game. If that is going to be the layout of the game, fine, whatever, but they better have an immersive storyline that you can play by yourself. Don't force me to play with other people, I hate that. Have a lot of customization options for your ship and your character, all kinds of sick gear to progress towards, and overall they better just deliver on the game. So that's the end of the video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed and found some value in the video. In my opinion, I think Skull and Bones is going to be similar to The Division, which would make sense because The Division is a Ubisoft game as well. There will probably be PvE areas and PvP zones. Hopefully there is a storyline, but most importantly for me, I hope players can have an enjoyable experience in the game by themselves if they so choose. When I used to play Star Wars The Old Republic, I just kept to myself. I focused on leveling up, getting better gear, and progressing in the story. That's just how I roll, and maybe some of you all can relate. I'm sure we will be discussing Skull and Bones again in the future, as well as covering other future games with single player elements. This is what I'm into. Feel free to subscribe if you are into games like that. Links to the sources I used are going to be in the description. With all of that out of the way, thank you for your time, and I'm out. Peace.